We do. We do have this. We do have this that I was gonna watch. The video is from 3 years ago, but I recently finished the first Trails in the Sky, and I fucking love the game. I'm playing through. Well, I finished the second game as well. I'm playing through the third game right now, and it's amazing. There's a remake that came out, Trails in the Sky. What's it called? Trails in the Sky, the first chapter. Is that what the remake's called? Trails in the Sky, the first chapter. Yeah. That's the remake. That's the remake. This one. But just go back and play the original. The remake's great as well, but like, go back and play the original. Watch the trailer, because I want to. This is one of those very rare, incredibly faithful remakes. No, completely different series. No, Trails is made by the developers of the East series.
Everyone, let's go!
Gross English dub. I doubt we have the Japanese voices here. Can I, you know what, can I find the JP trailer? I actually don't want to hear the in voices. JP trailer. God damn it! I won't be able to. Maybe we'll just accept the. Maybe we'll just accept the EN voices. Oh wait, is this it? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Better. You should play Trails in the Sky. Do it. Oh, I didn't realize they'd actually been recast at some point. Okay. I guess it makes sense. The original games came out like 20 years ago. Fucking Cassius. Fucking Cassius. Wait, tell me. Wait, is Olivia the only character that hadn't been recast over the years? Maybe Jin wasn't replaced either. Oh man. I actually kind of want to go back and play the remake. Going back and seeing this now, knowing like what happened through the first game, what happened through the second game. I need to play the remake. I love the original game, but anyway, on that note, so I played Trails in the Sky for the first time. Let's watch the video and let me just rave about how great this game is. Already a great start.
Welcome back to Retro Rebound. In
Hi.
today's video, we're getting into a relatively unknown JRPG series known as The Legends of Heroes. Specifically, we're talking about the first entry in the Sky trilogy, known as The Legends of Heroes Trails.
Which is where you should start. Don't listen to anyone who's like, oh, you could just start playing at Cold Steel. You could play Trails from... No, just fucking go play Trails. Go play Sky. Just start from the start. Don't start from Cold Steel. Don't start from Reverie. Just go start from the start.
In the Sky. Now, before I continue on
I'm playing through the third right now.
any further, I need to address the setup right now. It's a bit different from our typical Retro Rebound recording environment, where we have the nice microphone, the lighting. Just bear with
do
me
like
a little
Kevin,
bit.
though.
The weather
Kevin's
has been
cool.
awful this week. I couldn't make it to our usual studio space to record, so it's not going to sound as great, look as great, but we're talking about great games, which I think is common amongst all of our videos. So, before I get into anything at all, I need to make sure it's clear that we're going to be a bit more methodical in this video compared to our usual So I Played for the First Time videos, where we've talked about Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy IX,
I did like
Mega
Chrono
Man
Trigger as
Zero,
well.
where there has always been an assumed familiarity by the audience, and so it's just me talking about my first time playing these classic games that I missed out on.
I do love
and
this.
giving my opinion
I hope
on
throughout the entire video he just plays the OST, because I fucking love the OST.
parts that I think are worth talking about. Whereas for the Trails series, since I really understand that this one isn't as popular, I want to explain
Sadly.
what it is, what it's a part of, why it's actually a pretty important game series.
Baseball paper.
And then, as per usual, get into my thoughts in spoiler-free fashion, unless we distinguish otherwise. So if you're new here and you're looking for more retro reviews, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing. Now, let's talk about the Trails of series, specifically the first entry of Trails in the Sky. Okay, so first off, I need to just say that I'm talking to two different audiences right now, and sometimes I'll be talking straight to the Trails audience. Sometimes I'll be talking to people who don't even know what this game is. And I know it won't intermingle all that well, and it'll sound like I'm over-explaining myself a lot to one side or the other. What I mean by that is, Trails is effectively...
Wow, that footage is a massive fucking spoiler.
To one side or the other. What I mean by that...
Is this in, like, the opening of the PSP game?
That is, Trails
Surely
is
not.
effectively the MCU of
Or is
JRPGs.
this from the anime? I actually don't know. Maybe it's from the anime.
You know how Marvel loves to interweave these storylines, and everyone is here, and they're all meeting up? That's what Trails effectively builds up to across about, like, 9, 10 or so JRPGs.
I think you're underestimating it. Trails series. So. We have Trails in the Sky, Trails in the Sky SC, Trails in the Sky the Third, Trails from Zero, Trails to Azure, Trails of Cold Steel, Trails of Cold Steel 2, Trails of Cold Steel 3, Trails of Cold Steel 4, Trails into Reverie, Trails through Daybreak, Trails through Daybreak 2, Trails Beyond the Horizon. And here we just have the remakes. All of these games are connected. These aren't like individual games. This is a continuous storyline. Now, sometimes, like, Cold Steel happens at the same time as this. But, like, they're all in the same universe. You have characters from Sky that show up in, like, Cold Steel or Reverie, things like that. So, play from the start. Plan on playing 1 and 2 remake when it's out. Unfortunately, the originals are missing. The originals are missing Japanese text. Is Trails just a title, or is there something in the games that is called that? Trails is kind of just the title, but each of these headings do relate to what happens in the game. Yeah, that's all. I can't speak for some of the later stuff, but there is a reason why it's called Cold Steel, and there's a reason why this is Sky. Yes.
That are full-on games with lots of writing and storytelling and great combat.
The second game took me about 100 hours to finish.
This series is immensely impressive as a whole. It's a real testament
Oh,
to
Leo.
attention to detail in writing, and it all began in 2004 with Trails in the Sky. This comes from developer Nihon Falcom, who's responsible for this series. They're still active to this day, and in fact, they're bringing back some of the older Trails games like Zero and Azure to modern consoles, which is exciting because that would follow the release order where after the Sky trilogy came out.
Oh, was this before those got because I know it was only relatively recently they got the Steam release. I guess it was before then. Shit.
Then we had Zero and Azure. But yet they have yet to bring Trails in the Sky as a trilogy to modern consoles. It's only available on PC, and you can get it on PSP if you want, as well as Vita, but then you're just buying the inferior version. Why is that? Well, on PC, there's this thing called Turbo Mode, which is famous in the Trails franchise, but you may never have heard of it. Think of a game going into fast forward whenever you press a button. So combat animations speed up, general battle flow will speed up. So if you're fighting a bunch of mob enemies, you can fast forward through all of this. So you don't have to sit there and grind mindlessly and extend your game hours.
But the thing is, it's not really much in the way of grinding in the series anyway. Maybe if you're playing on Nightmare and skipping enemies. But if you're just killing everything as you go, it's not a JRPG that you really need to grind that much in, unless you really want to get certain abilities.
What's hilarious is these games end up being 40 to 50 hours a pop, even when you're using this turbo mode. So that mode, which is very vital to the pacing of Trails, is included in the PC version, but it's not in the PSP version. There's also differences in translations and bits of writing that aren't going to be in the PSP version, which I think this game feels better on, and it's why we don't have a physical box copy like we usually do in these videos. So I would recommend taking the PC route, but effectively all of these storylines build off of each other, and there's even moments, as someone who's played Trails of Cold Steel, the series available on PS3, Vita, and now PS4, as well as Switch, that you can see happening in the Trails in the Sky series. It's phenomenal writing. So hopefully that's a too long didn't read on the immense size of this franchise and just how it's crazy, it's unknown. It's really games that are built specifically for their fans.
There's actually a problem that the developers have run into. Now that there's the series is so long, getting someone into it is very difficult, because to really appreciate, like, when Estel shows back up in a later game, or stuff that happens with Olivia, or returning characters in Cold Steel, you need to play through, like, this is one of those series where you really need like 500 hours of context to really appreciate the newest games. It's not something that gets good after 500 hours, but to really appreciate the newest stuff, you kind of need to go back and play the older ones.
So impressive. So now, with that primer, let's talk about Trails in the Sky and why I've really found myself enjoying this series a ton. Now, I have to admit, I'm surrounded by a lot of Trails fans in my life, and I have been sold a lot of promises on how this game continues to deliver. What I want to make people aware of, first and foremost, and Trails fans will know what I'm talking about here, is these stories always demand your patience, okay? Think of how...
Especially the first game. The first game is a bit of a slow burn. It's a good slow burn, but the big events do take quite a lot of setup to get to. The second game gets into it quite a bit faster, and then third is, shit's happening right from the start. But you start the first game as so adventurers in this series are called bracers. You start as like a junior bracer. You're like not even qualified yet. You're like going out and just doing really basic tasks from the start of the game.
Sifu, a FromSoft game, you kind of get beat over the head and you're like, why are you doing this to me? And then finally on the other side, there's an appreciation because you understand it. You get why they were doing all this. The Trail series is that, but with storytelling. Throughout my first entry with Trails in the Sky, and this isn't my first rodeo with Trails. I've played Cold Steel 1, 2,
played
a little bit of 3, but stopped and went back to Sky because apparently that's the best order to play in. But when I'm playing Sky, I'm having to do some of these menial objectives, and I'm going, why do you want me to do these types of things? Why? I don't want to do boring fetch quests. only to see how these characters and everything that's happened in this world building now connects to this major event happening in the story that is a pillar to everything that'll happen afterwards. So you get annoyed with yourself because you go, well, the story here is actually pretty good, but there's moments where it generally doesn't feel good until you get to the solution, once you get past the finish line. So it's a continuous loop of frustration payoff for me. Frustration payoff.
I was never frustrated. I just enjoyed the journey.
Then you always understand it at the end. Now, this story is based around two children, Estelle Bright and Joshua Bright, brother and sister, and they're all...
Yes. Yeah. Brother and sister. Yes. That's what they are.
Off to be bracers, effectively mercenaries for this world they're in, where they're running around completing odd jobs. And they're inspired by their father, Cassius Bright, who one day, see ya.
Fucking Cassius. It is a recurring thing, but are they blood related? No, he is adopted. That becomes very important to the story.
He just goes missing. And they're like, what happened to our dad? And so they eventually go on a journey across all these lands, and it's a lot of war.
Let me show you the wiki. Esteru Bright wiki. Oh yeah, this is what I mean by characters showing back up. So Estelle in the first game, second, third, that's her series. But then she just shows up in 0 as your Cold Steel 4 Reverie again. So where is it? Joshua Bright, adopted brother, lover.
And world building as you just go from town to town to town, doing these side quests and building up effectively the world space that this entire trilogy is going to take place in. Like, that's what Trails is about. They will spend an entire first entry in a game.
So the first game makes so many references to other regions. Trails world map. So far, not even every single region has been explored. So the first series takes place here in Liberl. I believe Zero and Azure are in Calvard. And then Cold Steel takes place in Erebonia. But there's still areas where, like, we've never even seen in some of the games. But we know the world map. We know what the world map is, except this part. I don't know. This has just never been fully established yet.
Just building the world. And of course, a main story they're pulling you along. But they'll just spend a whole entry building the world so that in the second entry and the third entry, they don't...
So the second game actually reuses the map from the first game. You go back to all of the same towns. So there's also, I don't know if he's going to mention it, there's also a save transfer system. So you bring in your save from the first game, and if you did side quests in the first game, NPCs you did quests for will actually make reference to the fact that you did something for them before. And we're like, hey, do you remember me? You did this thing for me. And sometimes you might get like an extra item for it. But like, the games are very clearly like connected together.
To explain a thing to you, they hit the ground running.
It is really cool.
As someone who's
I always appreciate that when like NPCs remember that you did something.
almost done with the second game, the pacing is mighty different. It's the same thing with Trails of Cold Steel. When you finish Trails of Cold Steel 1, you're like, that was kind of slow. Then you start up Cold Steel 2 and you go, oh my god. Oh my god, this is amazing. They're going so fast now. It plays with your
Oh yeah, also the second game literally takes place 5 minutes after the ending of the first game. The second game starts with the cutscene the first game ends with. That's how like directly connected the sequels. At least 1 and 2 are. Why don't you make it a live service game at this point? Please no, don't do it.
expectations in the most unique way I've ever experienced in a JRPG. Because when you think it's being slow, it's actually teaching you an important lesson about the world.
Pay attention.
There's not one wasted bit of dialogue here. And that's something I appreciate about Trails a lot, because it tests your patience. And if you're really attentive to the detail of the writers, you can absolutely see across the board, they don't waste a line of dialogue. Nothing is said without care. And it's weird because it's such a wordy game. They always are talking to you that you're like, certainly this is BS right now. It's not. That's what's amazing about Trails in the Sky. And so it'll test your patience, but if you stick with it, I think you're in for a rewarding journey. And I won't spoil anything, but once you get to the end, you go, oh.
Yeah, the first game's ending. Holy.
So this is where we're going. It is an immense payoff. I can't say that enough. It's a story about true payoff. But at its heart are amazing characters. Estelle is a phenomenal female lead, and you can really appreciate...
The thing with all of the characters in Sky as well is when you first meet them, they all kind of seem like one-dimensional trope characters. Like, Estelle is the tsundere character. Joshua is the... you know, the calm male lead character. Tita is this, like, cute emoto character. Olivia is the pervert character. Agat is this, like, angry boy. Sherazade is, well, the counter to Olivia. She is the pervert herself. But as you go through the game, you realize the characters are a lot deeper than, like, Clause as well. She's like this Ojo-sama character initially, but as you go through the game, you realize these characters like are a lot more in depth than they initially seem.
What Falcom has done as a developer, because there are so many things I've seen in this game that I used to say, oh, Trails copied this from X, Y, and Z, when actually this developer was a trailblazer in so many ways. Their representation in gaming, some of the themes.
I forgot about this. I forgot about this line from the introduction of Olivia. Oh man, what an introductory line. Jesus fucking Christ. No homo, no, Olivia loves everyone. Olivia loves everyone. Doesn't matter who you are.
They tackle, especially in the first Sky game, really impressive, mature games. And it's kind of funny because a lot of the Trails community, from what I've seen, when it comes into Cold Steel, says the game gets a bit more immature. I still do generally prefer, so far, Cold Steel. But Sky is a mature...
Well, Cold Steel literally takes place in a school. It should reasonably make sense that it has a more immature feel to it.
Well-written, fun JRPG. So let's talk a bit about gameplay. Now that you have an idea of the story, the world, the pacing, the characters. Shout out to Agate,
Angry
by the way.
boy.
Almost forgot about Agate. My favorite character in the Trails of the Sky trilogy.
Okay.
I love this man. I would die for him. He's amazing. He's literally the Trails of Cloud. That's who he is. He's Cloud. But I don't care. I don't care that they ripped him off. He's dope. They did an amazing job building his character. Anyway, let's move into the gameplay. So I mentioned turbo mode. That's pretty fundamental to the pacing of this game. And it's weird because I fight with myself. I think, well, if the combat was paced properly and animations were timed properly, we wouldn't need a turbo mode to speed through combat. But you don't really have to use it, but it's a good option because it'll get you to the next point in the story, which is the superstar of this whole game.
Literally every combat encounter, I just hold down turbo mode. The combat animations are really slow. Can you validate this cloud comparison? I don't know. In some sense, yeah, he is kind of like Cloud. Cloud. Cloud through early 7 is kind of just an angry boy and thinks everyone else is just fucking stupid. But I don't know. I can see where he's going with that. He also is, you know, the big great sword as well. But I feel like Cloud is the way he is because I don't know. Like, it's actually, I hadn't thought of this comparison before. So maybe he is onto something. I'm trying to cope right now. Yeah, I can see it. I feel like he's such a different character, though, from how he starts acting in the second game, that it's really hard for me to say that. Because in the second game, the reason why he is the way he is in the first game is Estel and Joshua, they're fucking morons. They have no idea what they're doing, and Ugat is basically forced to effectively babysit these junior breaces who he doesn't want to deal with because he knows they're shit at their job. Also, he has a lot of respect for their father Cassius, and sort of he knows what they can be, but he also knows that if they don't shut the fuck up, they're gonna get themselves killed. Force grow up and be throughout the second game, you realize why Ugat is the way he is. There's like when you start seeing his backstory, there's a good reason why he acts the way he does. Because that's big spoiler, actually. But yeah, I will say that he opens up, but he's the way he is because he doesn't want to see these kids get killed, basically.
Pretty well, it's the combo mode
here
to speed through combat, but you don't really have to use it, but it's a good option.
But he's only a little bit older than Estel and Joshua anyway. I think he's like 20? Estel and Joshua in the first game are 16, I think. I don't remember. I think 16 sounds right.
Option because it'll get you to the next point in the story, which is the superstar of this whole game.
So
quicker.
He's still really young
so
himself.
It's a back and forth, but the combat here is awesome. So what happens is when you land attacks or you are hit, you're going to build up CP. CP will allow you to tap into different skills
Japanese
and abilities
games.
where you can eventually unleash an ultimate attack that can heal your entire party or slash up the entire field of battle if you use like Joshua's Black Fang attack. It is awesome because it gives you...
Wait, I didn't even realize...
Use like Joshua's Black Fang attack. It is...
Having finished the first game and finished the second game, this didn't click with me at all. There's a great reason why his eyes are like this. Oh my god, I'm actually still learning. I am still learning shit about this game. Like you see his eyes down here, he's happy boy. Here, ooh, depression boy. There's actually a plot reason why it's like this.
Awesome. Because it gives you feedback no matter when you are attacking and what you are using, whether it's a basic attack, an ability.
Also, the name of the attack is very important as well.
Magic. And the way it all clicks together is the turn order. Never have I seen in a JRPG a more interactive turn order than in the Trails of series, where different debuffs and buffs will appear on the top left corner. And you'll see sometimes an exclamation point for a critical hit, or you'll see a sword that'll multiply the damage.
Yeah, so you might see... So these abilities down here are called your S-Craft. You can use these and break turn order. So they cost all of your CP gauge, but they unleash an ultimate, and you can either use them on your turn, or if you see something along the side here, like, say, a damage up, or a critical, or something like this is like a health restore here, but if there's like a critical or damage up here, you can break turn order, and then steal that buff, and unleash more damage than you would have by using it on your actual turn.
I think.
Or, in some situations, like if you have Claudia in your party, she had like her ability is a heal, so there might be like a big turn, or like there might be a bunch of like really fast enemies, and they knock out most of your party. So you can then jump in with her, revive everyone, or heal them back up to full health, and then make your way through the rest of the encounter.
10%. You'll also see other buffs that'll pop up like bonus Sepith, and if you time out debuffs, spells, or if you see, say, a critical attack, in the turn order, you can activate your ultimate attack, which will immediately take that next turn. And so you can steal criticals from the enemies and just jeopardize the flow of battle. There's a lot of control put into the player's hands. So at face value, you'll see, yeah, standard JRPG, it's got physical attacks and magic attacks, and enemies have...
I forgot, like, how tame the S-crafts were in the first game. Let me show you how kind of crazy they get in the second game. Tita satellite beam. I guess this is third. That works as well. Oh, that was... Here we go, JP. They have the JP voices? A fucking space laser! Let me see if I can find some other ones. Estel Wheel of Time. Oh my... Stop resetting the fucking scroll. Why is it doing that? Here? Oh god, it's the dub. Whatever, it worked. That's not... That was not the move that I searched for. Trails the third Wheel of Time. Yes, this is the one. Here we go. Why do you have an intro on a 30-second video? The intro is half the video.
Wanna see what I got? Ha! Yeah! Too slow. Wheel of Time.
I hate the dub. Oh, sorry.
Quartz into your orbment device. That's effectively going to be your perks, if you will. Think of it that way.
Why the fuck do you have so much Sepith? Why do you have 200,000 mirror?
And it's a really interesting build system. So as you put these quartz in, you'll get a count of Sepith, which is this game's crystallized currency, if you want to call it that.
I don't know.
And this
New Game
Sepith
Plus
will then determine what spells you have available. So if I want to do a full strength build, I'm going to be putting in a lot of red quartz. And then I'll have more access, because they're red quartz, to fire spells. So you can build in a lot of different ways. And it's not just...
The first game... So the ability system gets added on each game. The first game is the weakest entry, just because there's just not that many choices.
Exclusive to colors. Some quartz will reach across multiple colors. It's really a great build system.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a little confusing at first. The game doesn't do a good job of explaining itself. But I ultimately...
No, you have the Bracer guide.
Found myself really enjoying the gameplay.
I usually just play through a game once.
While Estelle and Joshua are absolutely the stars of the show, they get the most development as characters in the party cycle in and out.
In the
like
first game,
Olivier, Agate, Tita, etc., etc. What it does lead to is the occasional issue...
Some of you don't know what's being said if you're playing Japanese, just learn Japanese. Easy. Simple.
Where this game will leave you with 2 party members, even though you clearly need 3 or 4 for some of the battles. And difficulty spikes will happen that feel overall unnecessary.
Especially so I'm playing the third on Nightmare. Before you get Tita in the third, holy shit, the game is difficult. The prologue in the third is cooked.
This can make certain encounters a bit frustrating.
Why are you doing this?
Because
Fun.
in the sequel, they do remedy this, and you never have less than 4 party members, because it was pretty important in the first game to have that, but they never quite account for that, I felt, on a balancing front. It also makes things
played
feel,
the first
at
and
times
second
on
on
the
hard.
writing front, while it's all worthwhile, a little bit stale. There are times where I felt like you could have a little bit more flavor injected with additional characters, but instead they cycle them in and out as Estelle and Joshua go on their...
Yeah, the first game was very heavy on guest characters, where someone would show up for a chapter, and then someone would leave, and someone else would come in, then someone would leave, and someone else would come in. The second game, everyone kind of, like, hangs around.
Journey. However, their development cannot be understated. These two are the pillars to this entire trilogy. It's important that they get them right, because in the future entries, they matter even more than they do right now. So I get why they gave them the focus, and it's overall worthwhile, but I do think it comes with some gripes. If you can look past those general issues, I think you might have
Incredible
something pretty
gameplay.
good here. But for me, that was
Phenomenal.
something that nagged me a little bit as I was going along. Now, one of my favorite things about video games is when they manage to make sense of connecting gameplay mechanics to storytelling. It's just something that feels really good for me, and this game does that pretty well here, even if it means you go on some menial fetch quests, like go here, kill this boss-like enemy, go here, collect 5 of these. What'll happen is, as you complete side quests at the Bracer Guild, your rank will go up, and when your rank goes up, then you'll get certain rewards specific to the Bracer Guild. And as someone who has played almost all of the sequel now by the point of recording this, I can definitely tell you all that it's more worthwhile in this game to go through all the side content and level up your Bracer Guild rank, because some of the rewards there are super necessary for you to actually succeed, I feel, in fights in a fair manner. Whereas in the sequel, they do a better...
Wait, I just realized. So... Ren, you're gonna realize, you're gonna notice this. I'm gonna show you something. A detail that you probably didn't notice. Trails, Joshua Black Fan. Okay, so this is Joshua using Black Fang. Okay. Now you know what we're looking at here. You know the details. Now let me show you Joshua using Phantom Raid. Well, you can already see it from the thumbnail. What is this fucking dialogue, man? This audio.
I will run no more.
Nice little detail. You know.
Better job balancing things where you don't have to worry as much about it. Still, I thought this was an underrated aspect of the game. Another underrated aspect I want to really shine some light on is the graphical style. It's not quite 3D. It's not quite 2D. I don't know.
I think the world map is obviously 3D. I don't actually know if the character art is. I like, it looks 2D, but they might be like rendered off of 3D models. I'm actually not sure
what you would call this graphical style, but I dig it. It's kind of chibi, it's kind of animated, it's kind of sprite based, it's kind of like Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, 8-directional. Yeah, but they're weirdly high resolution for just being 2D sprites. That's why it throws me off. The pre-rendered 3D models. That makes the most sense.
It's very much its own thing, and I
don't know,
appreciate
though.
it for that. Even if you have these weird moments where characters are like walking in place while they're standing at a storefront or whatever, I don't know why this is the idle animation. Maybe it's so that the screen doesn't look so dead when you're walking around town.
Probably.
I can respect that, because sprite games struggle with that. You can't just reuse animation skeletons. So it helps make sure that you have something moving on screen when you're working with 3D assets. But this is specifically kind of a weird part that
They also speed up if you hold down turbo mode in dialogue.
can't put my finger on with this game, but I do dig the graphical style is what I'm trying to say. Now, I am speaking on the end of this as someone who's pretty glowing about the game, I want to emphasize one more time here as we near the wrap up of this video that this game is still slow. Okay, no matter how you chop it up, even if there's
First game
payoff at the
especially.
end, there are still parts that are slow where this game could have been slashed a good 5 to 10 hours. Doesn't make a big difference to me.
The thing with the first game, though, is it's introducing each of the new characters, right? Like, each chapter serves as the introduction. You have Shadowzard's introduction, Urgot's introduction, Jin's introduction, Claw's introduction. Like, that's why each of the chapters are the way they are. I'm in the fourth reading. Oh, yeah, right, you're in Cold Steel.
No, not really. I'm a lore junkie. I love to see how these worlds get built up and play the sequel and see how it feeds off the first game, which they absolutely do in this series. Like, I look at Dying Light 2, a game that recently came out, and you go, oh, well, you can just play Dying Light 2. You don't gotta play the first game. Not in Trails. No, 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 no. Like, if you pick up Cold Steel 3 or Cold Steel 4, that's your first Trails game. I mean, if you're
gonna start from something that isn't Sky, at least start from the start of an arc. Just, like, start from Sky, but if you're gonna play Cold Steel first, at least play Cold Steel 1.
Want to work it backwards, I guess you can, but that's just not the ideal way to do it. So it's a series that'll test your patience, but I think it's well worth it. And I also want to shout out the music. Unfortunately, also, this game's not voiced, so on the sound side of things,
Aha, he did he not? Wait, surely not. Surely not. Did he actually? Oh my god, okay. Anyone who's going to play it, Trails in the Sky, Sora voice. If you're gonna play Trails in the Sky, install the Sora voice mod. It takes the voice acting from the JP game, from the JP PSP games, and puts them on the Steam version.
Yeah.
It makes it so much better. Just do it. Just do it. It's like, you just gotta put a fucking file in a folder. Like, don't play the game without the JP voice acting. Just don't do it. There's a video right here. It's 2 minutes long. In general, someone who's not played the game is not that big of a deal. It is a big deal, though. It's such a big deal. It's just, what do you... It's so good. The voice acting is so good.
so I just want to shout that out personally. But otherwise, Trails in the Sky, pretty good game. Do I say that this is a rush out and buy it right away on PC or get it on your Vita? It's really tough to say because I know it's hit or miss for a lot of people out there. But if you're into a JRPG series, that number one, you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck off of, and that there is a ton of build up and story payoff across an entire...
The JP is better, sure, but the Sky games have such little voiceover. Every single story interaction is voiced. Literally every story interaction is voiced if you play with the Sora voice mod.
set of games, we're talking like 8+ JRPGs here, then this is the place to be. We're talking the entire Cold Steel series, which is 4 games, the entire Sky...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Play with the Sora voice mod, the entire game is voice acted. The only things that are not are just random, like, NPCs in town.
Series, which is 3 games, and there's Zero, Azure, there's Hajimari no Kiseki, there's others in Japan that have yet to come to the States. It's insane. It's actually kind of gross, if you will. But I ultimately walked out enjoying it, and I hopped right into the sequel almost immediately.
Yep,
because
same.
When I finished this game, I remember thinking to myself, oh yeah, I didn't really love that. But then I tried to take a break from gaming for a couple days.
No, I disagree. No, I finished the first game. I was like, what the fuck do you mean that happened to Joshua? What the fuck do you mean that all... What are you... No, we're not stopping here.
After I beat a game like I typically do, and I realized all I could think of was Trails.
Yep.
And that I just wanted to see where the story would go next with these characters. There's a strong level of continuity here that pulls me along. And so I hopped into the sequel almost immediately. Again, I couldn't really pace myself, which is kind of ironic with the theme of this video.
First 2 games are not 2 games. They are 1 game in 2 parts. Yeah, it's like the first East game. East 1 and East 2 are not 2 separate games. They are They are the same game. It is East 2 is an expansion for East 1. SC is a expansion to SC. SC is expansion to FC. Just play the second game immediately. As I was saying earlier, the second game literally takes place with the cutscene that the first game ends on.
So it's this game.
And then TC, there's like a 6-month time skip, and Kevin's the main character now. I do like Kevin. Kevin is a lad, but
That if you can get on sale, I think it's worth a try. It's a nice.
The game goes on sale literally every sale. Literally every single Steam sale. The entire first half of the series is on like a 50% sale.
JRPG. And if you look at it through the lens of, hey, this is a 2004 game, I think you'll be very impressed with some of the things that Nihon Falcom has done. Anyway, to those of you who know nothing about Trails, thank you for bearing with me and watching this whole video. I do genuinely appreciate you, because I'm sure a lot of it may have been tough to follow, but I hope with my commentary and the gameplay on real display here, you can kind of see what this series is all about. To those of you who are Trails fans, you're welcome. I'll put your game on the map. You can thank me later when this video is mad popular. Anyways, I'm kidding. With that, ladies and gentlemen, take great care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next Retro Rebound.
Wait, let me. Oh, he's got a video on the second part as well. We're not gonna watch that today, but you know. Here's the introduction of Olivia in the second game. Oh, this is not with the voice acting. Content, audio, include. You lied to me. Your description lied to me. Okay, well, whatever. Play, if you're gonna play the series, just play with the Sora voice mod. It makes the game so much better. Just do it. Just do it. And you get to hear Estelle every time something happens. Be like, understand? Understand? And Tita calling Estelle One-chan. And Joshua Oni-chan. And that's all you need. And Olivia being Olivia. Yeah. Anyway, I love this. I love the first two games. I'm loving the third game. As I said, Kevin's a lad. I like Kevin. Yes. The Crossbell games have... Right, it was Crossbell. Yeah. Sorry, for some reason I thought the Azure and Zero were Calvard. I don't know why. Crossbell, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I love these games. Go play them. They're great. They're amazing. Nihon Falcom makes great games. If you don't want, look, if you don't want to play Trails, go fucking play East. Go play East. East is also great. Go play East 8. I don't know. Let me just play the song. I've played it before. It's great. In my opinion, I like Azure more than Sky S. Really? Okay, I'm excited then. Because I love Sky. I love SC. SC is phenomenal. Neon Falcom's such a weird studio. No one fucking knows about this studio outside of Japan. But they have some phenomenal games. They have a Hello Copyright Strike. It's game music. Usually game music's fine. Let me see. Trails. Harmonica. Let me just play it. Where is it? Is this it? Man. What a game. What a game. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today. So, yeah. I don't know what to say. Go do cool things.